We are SGOC Media, and this is the Quit Jerking Off Initiative.
Was there a time where it kind of felt like, okay, there's something that's happening where at the time it felt like it was a terrible thing, but
Sure.
ended up being a blessing in the long run because maybe it did something for you to almost somewhat force that personal growth?
In my 20s, I sold some businesses, made some money, and it was all about me. And there was a lot of lessons learned in my younger days. Like, you go back and talk to Eddie in his 20s, and I'm arrogant, unapproachable, I'm a jerk, and there's a lot of processes, that I had to go through to learn those lessons. I got to a place in my life where I was super successful. I managed a bunch of radio and TV properties early on in my 20s, and I stood on the Billboard stage as the youngest general manager in a major market. I won a bunch of awards, got awards back when Billboard actually awarded station managers, stuff like that. And so I'm standing on the Billboard stage getting an award. And then I went home that night and just being totally transparent and open, wondering, have I hit a ceiling? Like, what else is there? And depression just set in.
Right.
And
what now?
I'd hit a bunch of pinnacles in that year, and only my wife knows, to the point where I thought about taking my life multiple times a year. Just depression was just a part of who I was. Because when you hit that, it's what I was just talking about. It's like you hit these ceilings, and then it's like, what else matters?
Why am I here?
Why am I here? There's got to be something bigger. And so those moments, sometimes even the pinnacle becomes, the valley. And that really changed me and I went through about a 3 or 4 year time period. I actually took a couple months off and just went and sat on a beach and got up every morning and just went out and sat literally prayed, meditated, just like, what am I even doing? Just because I was in such a bad spot that I just didn't even have a desire to live, and it's so weird to say I'm accomplishing every goal in life I set out to accomplish, but yet I don't feel, purpose enough to live.
You're struggling through it, you're on a beach, you're talking, you're meditating, you're talking to God, you're praying, whatever it is you're doing. How did you work your way out of that?
Yeah, I called my dad. I grew up in a family where, the men, kind of sucked it up and really didn't talk about your feelings. And I was just in a really low spot. I needed a lifeline. So I called my dad and just said, hey, I'm just going to be real honest with you. This is where I'm at. And he was shocked. He was shocked. He was like, dude, all this, your family thinks you're the greatest thing ever. And I was like, yeah, but I'm not. Life sucks. I really don't know that I want to live. And he was like, you got to connect with something bigger. You've got to find something that has more value than what you're putting your current, life into, because that's never going to satisfy. It's going to get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, and it's going to leave a bigger void each time you reach it. And that's when I started my quest for just purpose. I didn't know what it meant. I didn't know where I was headed. And so I left Atlanta. That was where we lived at the time. Went back to Ohio, where I grew up. That was my childhood, and just kind of started reconnecting with life. And my dad and I started doing some business together. We started building some properties, built a bunch of multifamily stuff together, and built an excavation company together. And for 2 or 3 years, just kind of regrounded, try to get back to what I knew. And then that was a launching point for me. And then that's when I started to find those opportunities to serve others and really kind of give back. And what I saw is everything I kind of did in business had an element of success to it, because I'd found a process that worked for me. And so it didn't matter if I was building an excavation company or real estate or whatever, it became success. And so I figured that out, and then that became just a part of who I was. And then I started pushing all of that towards that purpose that I was finding. Yeah.